I don't really have a lesson to share or anything really, really big. Um, I've just had, honestly, a heck of a weekend, heck of a week. My mom has been, for those of you that have been keeping up, has been dealing with brain inflammation, brain swelling. Presented in the beginning inflammation in the cerebellum, so she was very um, it was very difficult for her to move. She was mostly just laying in bed, couldn't walk on her own, and then that inflammation over the course of a month, month and a half, moved to her membrane, um, encasing the brain, and then I actually don't know. I didn't look at the MRI that happened yesterday, uh, but about a week and a half ago, she was very different, personality wise, behavior wise. And then about, I want to say, what now, 4 days ago, 5 days ago, Saturday, she was very, and Sunday, she was having bouts of some serious paranoia, like thinking that everyone around her knew that she was terminal but wasn't telling her that she was terminal. Um, like listening in devices in my dad's ear that were recording and being transmitted. Um, Pretty insane stuff, right? It's cool to laugh about it now because she's all right. Um, but pretty pretty wild stuff. She was, I don't know, like if something, I would imagine something's going on in like frontal lobe, um, reasoning, thought, logic. I don't even know. Like the thing is, it's got such like a very like such a religious tint to everything. So she was just beyond convinced that God was speaking directly to her on a lot of things. But it's just a brain thing, right? So it was really tough, like basically having to say God isn't saying this to you. This is your brain creating delusions. Um, I mean, we had to fight her to get to the hospital. Like, had to call 911 and stuff. So, um, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm not gonna go too deep into it. 'Cause some of it I'm gonna keep, under wraps and just family and friends. But it was taxing for sure. Um, I think for the most part emotionally taxing, and there was just something like in me, right, that was just like, man, this goes against absolutely everything I have done for all of my life, which is tell people like, well, if you feel like God is saying it, then you should go with that. If you believe and God says, you're healed or this, that, like, then, be wise about it, but like believe God. And like I'm having to say the opposite, right? Like you're not hearing God, like you're hearing these are delusions, right? These hallucinations. Um, and of course, now she's doing great, and she remembers. She's like, I don't know what was going on in my brain. I just know that that was what my brain was telling me, and we get to laugh about it now, but crazy. I think it threw me a little bit for a loop, thinking about how so much of our belief and our spiritual experiences are just defined by a part of the brain, right? I just think about the people that have a less developed part of that brain, or have an overdeveloped, or have um, more of a capacity or more of a proclivity for spiritual things. I think it's just got me kind of back down that path of thinking of, what about the people that never hear about Jesus? What about the people that don't know God because every image of God they've seen has been in the Christians around who have hurt them time and time again. And so they deny a God that they don't really know, and that if they did actually get a glimpse of, they would fall in love with. Really, really struggle, right, with struggle with that, right? I struggle with the problem of evil. I struggle with the burden of salvation, whether that's on others, on ourselves, on God, um, hellfire, just eternal damnation. they're really troubling topics. I feel like I've had to come to a place of I don't know, and I have to look at it through the lens of my faith and trusting that God is good, because I've seen God move in so many ways, and it could only have been God, and it happened in the name of Jesus. Like if it was in the name of Muhammad or some other God, then I would have devoted my life to them. So yeah, tough questions, but ran into a guy with a master's. I can't imagine Drew's watching this, but Drew, if you are, you're gift from heaven, brother. But master's in I think Christian education, but went to like Dallas Theological Seminary, and does like open forum talks and stuff, and works for a nonprofit like evangelism organization. So super stoked for like those kind of conversations. Ideally, that's what this is. Is being able to have conversations with people that know much more than I do, and just throw a question out there like, hey guys, I'm really struggling with the idea of, like, Elijah brought a friend to church, and I was just ADHD, like caffeine, like jumping off the walls and being like a bit of a distraction sometimes, and maybe not as reverent in my attitude as I, thinking back, wanted to show. The idea of my actions keeping him from encountering God or going to heaven. If we're to say that other people have an impact on our salvation, any impact at all, then I have to say that I could have, had an impact on him. And, like, dude, it's a crazy thought, but I don't remember where I was going with that. I'm reading the same book that We Would See Jesus. I'll probably talk about it tomorrow, Thanksgiving. Just been sitting in it. It's so good. So one of the best lines. One of the absolute best lines. Hopefully this thing refocuses, because there we go. I remember seeing this and going like, bro, unbelievable. Okay. I still try to read it over and over again to understand it, because I feel like once I understand it fully, it's just... Okay, so, I'll paraphrase to the best of my ability. Okay. God is light. Okay. And here's the thing about light, is that... He says it pretty nice, so I'm just going to copy paste. Light is invisible unless it shines upon an object. So we think we see a ray of sunshine shining into a room, but that's not what's really happening. We see the particles in the air upon which the light shines, and it thus reveals the presence of light. God is light, 1 John 1:5 we read, but he is invisible and unknowable as light is, unless he shines upon some object that will reveal him. The object upon which God has shone is the face of Jesus Christ. As we look into that face, there shines into our hearts the light of the knowledge of the glory of God, which we can see nowhere else. That's where I'm struggling a little bit with. The light of the knowledge of the glory of God, right? It's like, that's a freaking big mouthful. So I think it's 2 Corinthians 4:6. God has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. So what is the light that is shining upon Jesus' face? The light of the knowledge of the glory of God. I still don't even understand that. Like, Jesus, is it not focused on my face? Jesus, the light of the knowledge of the glory of God. like I feel like I get what he's saying here. Like I get the God is light, and I get shining on Jesus, and that's how he's revealed, right? And there's multiple verses that talk about um, Jesus is the exact imprint of the Father's nature. Um, Another one being, when the disciples say, you know, if we could, Lord, show us the Father, and it is enough for us. In reply, Jesus utters the stupendous words, whoever has seen me has seen the Father. So, God is light, and he's shining that light, and the light is unseeable unless it shines upon something invisible and unknowable light, right? And so it shines upon Jesus, and you can see God in the face of Jesus. There shines into our hearts the light. What is this light? This light is the light of the knowledge of the glory of God. It just sounds like it's probably just one of those things where it's like English can try to do what it can, but it's just so hard to convey this idea. But there's something there. One day I'm going to crack it because I keep coming back to this book and I keep, hitting that. But this was a really cool image I liked. The exact imprint of his nature, Hebrews 1:3. He gives an example of a wax impress is the exact expression of a seal. So it's like God is the seal and Jesus is the wax impress that's left there. Really cool. I don't know. I really liked that. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Prayers appreciated, but mom's doing good. Business is great. Having great conversations with the fund and like educating myself more and more. Should be starting to get paid for that from that Monday. Also doing some coaching stuff for the cleaning business. Cleaning business is going great. We should end this month at like 20. I think it'll be 22. I was projecting 23, but that was at Thanksgiving is on Thursday. I think we cut all cleanings Thursday, Friday, and those cleanings were Thursdays and Fridays are our busiest days. We usually do about 1,500 minimum a day, so that's like $3,000 right there. So I think we would have passed 25K last month, being 19K. I think we would have passed 25K this month if not for Thanksgiving. And the next month, of course, there is Christmas, New Year's, like all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if we end up around the same area. But January is going to go hard. January is going to go super hard. February is going to go super hard too. So, yep. Super excited for that. I bet you this mic is super loud, unfortunately, because I just saw something go into the red. Man, that would suck. I hope I don't have to reshoot this whole thing. I'm not reshooting this whole thing. I don't know why I put this watch on, as if I'm going somewhere. I think I just got antsy. Been thinking about a bit of the image I put on social media too. Like, I didn't care before because I was just doing my own thing. Like, I've got a business I own and I don't, have to talk or look a certain way to anyone. Now I'm like shaving my face, like I'm buying like slacks and button downs and having to look nice. Dude, I'm freaking in the red. That's gonna suck if I have to seriously shoot this again. I'm not shooting this again. I'm sending it. I really don't care. Now I'm thinking about like, dang, like I should probably go through back through my posts and see like what do I need to take down, because I just am not showing the most professional image of myself that I'd like to. And how much of these, like what should I look like doing these? Should I dress a certain way? Should I not share too much? Like, am I giving people things to use against me in some way? I don't know. So anyways, just thoughts I'm kind of having, right? And like the funny stuff I want to post, like, is it unprofessional? Is it, I don't know. But yeah, this took kind of a back burner the past couple days, but it's all good. Back on. So love you guys. You guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and yeah, Talk soon.